Aisha and her cat had been paired together for years leading up to this moment, and their bond was unbreakable. The cat was first with her when she was just 14 because her parents decided to buy the pet. When Aisha grew older, they decided to let her keep it and bring it to her first rented home because she basically did all of the catering anyways. One night, when Aisha and the cat were sitting in the dining room little together, did she know that the pet would not be the highlight of the show here, to her cat collection. Little did she know that the pet would not be the highlight of the show here.
You look so tired. I know you're tired.
Strangely, the chair came out at Aisha, and she was obviously pretty freaked out by this. She had never tampered with any form of paranormal entity or location, so it made zero sense as to why the spirit had chosen her for the haunting. This is one of many questions that will likely never have an answer. Now, despite humans being so out of touch with the paranormal world, there have been several inventions that supposedly allow us to communicate with entities. Some of these methods are very controversial and up for debate as to whether they are legit or not. However, the Ouija board is one that continuously provides things far from the norm. Unlike other methods where clips just show the board changing letters, Ouija boards often contain clips where haunted things happen. That was no different in the next video. It was filmed in the kitchen where some girls were messing about at a sleepover. It is safe to say that they were messing around in places far out of their depths, though. Have a watch.
Ok, nå har jeg begynt. Har du begynt? Hva skal vi begynne med? Hva skal vi si først? Hei? Vet du, jeg tør ikke å stå, jeg må sette meg. Jeg skal liksom si god dag eller hei. Julie, skal man si hei først? Nå sa jeg lyst. Ja, jeg tror... dere må liksom invitere den da, på en måte. Ja, vi må si hei da, hilse. Ok. Stav, hei. Ja. Hei. Det går ikke da. Det var det mye da. Fy faen, ass. Du sa jo at det skal være kul. Nei da. Ta ned på god dagen. Det er ikke lett, sier jeg ikke. Shit. Kødder du nå? Ok, vet du hva? Nå kan jeg få gå hjem, eller? Du kan ikke gå hjem? Nei, jeg tør ikke å gå hjem. Jeg tør ikke å gå hjem. Eller det fletsa seg. Ta det bort, da. Ta det bort, sånn her. Jeg tør ikke å ha det her nå. Hva sier du? Du må fortsette da. Ja, men dere, nå faen, nå er jo han, nå er ånden her da. Nå må dere... Ja, velkommen etter av valen. Tenk hvis han kommer og tar meg da. Fy for jeg sitter alene, faen, og så sitter vi i vinduet også. Hallo, hva skal vi si nå? Jeg fortsetter ikke nå. Jo, kom igjen da. Jeg fortsetter, jeg var kjempegøy. Kan dere følge meg hjem, eller? Det er Showtime. Ja. Kan du... Hallo. Jeg skulle aldri vært med på dette, vet du. Herregud, det var sykt. Hva faen skal vi ta med? Vi må vite om det er damer eller mann, da. Det kommer seriøst sånne lysglimt foran skjermen, altså. Det er dritkult. Hallo, ja. Du har aldri vært med på det her før? Eller jeg har vært med på den, liksom ikke sånn. Nå trodde jeg døra åpnet seg. Det er sykt. Herregud. Skal du fortsette nå, synes jeg? Hva skal vi ta med? Det er noe med deg. Kom igjen da. Hallo, vi må fortsette. Ok. Vi tar vi oss et her nå. Skal vi finne sammen? Ok. 1, 2, 3. Gi oss et tegn. Se det! Det tingler. Fy faen. Helvete. matte, hele den driten ringer jo. Åh, sjekka.
Gi oss et tegn.
Surprisingly, the Ouija board failed to connect to the spirits, and the girls were all rather disappointed with the turnout. Of course, they didn't expect it to work, but nonetheless, it would have been cool if it did so. What happened instead was simply terrifying. The girl on the far side of the table had her drink slide on its own accord, and everybody there understandably screamed. Perhaps the Ouija board summoned a ghost after all. On June the 6th of 2021, Chris and Julia were both in their bedroom watching television. It was just 10 p.m. and their favorite show had just released a new series, so they needed to get it started before they could get any rest. Little did they know that this watching session would include a massive interruption. The episode was about 30% complete, and the couple were loving it. They were so invested that they didn't even bring themselves to have any sort of toilet or food break. They substituted these periods with a ghost break. Julia was way too scared to investigate what caused the bang, so she sent the man of the house, Chris, to take a look. The result of his search was unfortunate because he found nothing except some cans on the floor. After reviewing the camera footage, they knew for a fact that this was an unnatural cause, so got in touch with their local priest. Like this video and comment part 2 for a chance for me to include it in a haunter video sometime in the future. It's not often that a spirit manages to physically affect a person, but in the upcoming video, this one in a billion phenomenon came to life. Meet Taylor, a 30-year-old electrician who takes no interest in either religion or the general paranormal world. He was convinced that nothing could change his mind on these views, and he was more than entitled to that opinion. However, one day something happened which managed to do the trick. It took place in January of 2025, and it is important to note that Taylor had never experienced anything like this before, so it was a new occurrence.
My front camera is smashed, but I'm here at my girlfriend's house by myself. She always says it's haunted because it sounds like somebody is walking around upstairs. I've never heard it until now. I always say it's not haunted because the house is a little old. But it legit sounds like there's somebody upstairs. I will swing on a ghost, or if it's a person, I don't care. Who's up there? Oh my God, they're like at the top of the stairs. Come down these stairs and I will swing on you, I promise.
Unlike most times where the ghost mentally torments a person, this ghost barged past Taylor on the way past Taylor, causing him to collapse. Taylor was adamant that nobody who knew him who had passed would haunt him, so he was extraordinarily baffled by this situation. What makes things even weirder is that he has not experienced anything like it since either. The following video was captured by a man called Mike, and it was not a first-time ghostly experience for him. In fact, Mike has dealt with countless instances involving a ghost because he purchased his house fully aware that it was haunted due to the extremely cheap cost that he refused to turn down. He was in the process of banishing the spirits from it in order to increase the value, working alongside his local church as well as many freelance ghost hunters. Of course, during this process, the hauntings were still going on though, and Mike managed to film this.
Nie wiem, przed chwilą cały czas coś się znowu dzieje. Boże. O Boże. A teraz wiecie co jest kurwa najgorsze? Że wczoraj kiedy kot tak długo wpatrywał się w tą lampę, postanowiłem, że odłączyłem od prądu. Gdzie jest ten kabel cholerny? Lampa jest odłączona. Patrzcie. No. A tutaj jest właśnie ten mój kolega. Masakra.
Now at first, Mike believed this was an electrical issue, but due to his situation, he decided to show the footage to some ghost experts. They all claimed that this was a spiritual act, and the lamp never flickered again from this point, so it did make a lot of sense. In a recent video on the channel, we took a peek into the life of a mother of 3 who was struggling heavily with paranormal activity. In that video, all sorts of weird events were featured, such as flickering lights, heavy breathing, talking, and other events of the sort. But fortunately, it was made clear that this was a one-time occurrence. Well, at least it was at that point. In between then and now, the family have experienced a lot more, and the next piece of footage showcases a time when all of it was caught on camera again. Watch it for yourself. Instead of doing anything visible with the eye, this time the spirit was rather audible and was trying to torment the mother. It knew that she wanted undeniable proof of its existence on camera, so decided to stay out of sight. It was a smart strategy and a cruel one. The mother could hear heavy breathing no matter where she visited in the house, and at one point even heard a little girl talking. This was a surreal experience, and make sure to subscribe, because if anything else happens to this family, then you will be the first to hear about it. Ghost hunting, a profession only taken up by the bravest of people, or the stupidest of people. It depends how you want to look at it. This profession involves being paid by clients to visit their property and search for entities, and it comes under 2 tasks. They either search for spirits or eliminate spirits. The man in the video here was attempting to search for one and find proof of its existence for the owner.
Me acaban de golpear, tengo una pared que da allá al patio, allá atrás, la puerta es ahí. Yo ahí tengo la computadora y en la pared me acaban de golpear. Yo no sé si fue algo que cayó por haber sido un gato o no sé. Fue bastante pesado el golpe. Siempre hay un montón de gatos por acá, ¿eh? En el barrio. No sé por qué la gente deja los gatos sueltos, digamos. Son gatos de personas, o sea, son gatos de familias. Pero dejan sueltos. ¡Ey, ey, 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 ey! ¿Qué es eso? ¿Lo escucharon? ¿De dónde vino? Uy, me estoy re asustando. No. Ok, si hay algo acá que se retire de mi casa. Puta madre.
As you could see, Fuego, the ghost hunter, clearly found enough evidence of a paranormal entity for his client and cashed out large. With the amount of money Fuego makes, it doesn't look like he's going to quit ghost hunting anytime soon. The following video was an extremely unsettling one, and for different reasons than usual. Typically on this channel, the reactions to spirits that we watch are full of fear and fright, but the one that I am about to show to you, much different. It took place in a dude's kitchen, and he was simply recording a video for an Instagram story when one of the most unexpected things happened, which made it go viral.
So I know at this point this goes without saying, but I should not drink anymore. I went a whole fucking while without drinking. Without drinking alcohol, and like I was like, hey, let me relax, drink some fucking White Claws, get white girl wasted and all that other shit. And it started happening again. And this isn't like, I mean, it's not news or anything. I figured it's because I drink.
Mid-speech, his protein powder fell to the shelf below its resting spot, which was very odd. What made this clip ever more disturbing, though, was the fact that the boy behind the camera only gave it a pause for a reaction and didn't do anything else. Quite a unique reaction to a unique experience, I must say. Mario was a third-generation Latin American whose grandparents had migrated from Mexico in search of greener pastures back in the 1950s, a few years after the war. He had heard his abuela tell crazy stories of El Cucuy, La Llorona, and numerous others like that. For some reason, he wasn't scared like his other siblings were. Instead, he was much more interested in the weird and strange things his abuela did at the back of the house on cold summer nights when no one was watching. One day, he confronted her about this, and she opened up about her old life as a voodoo priestess and how she had learned to connect with the supernatural. Mario loved the idea of this and learned all he could from his abuela. They were extremely close to each other until the day she died. Mario's involvement with his grandma made him so hungry for the supernatural that he started going around town looking for haunted houses and places where he could see ghosts. It was in one of his outings that this unreal video was taken.
Tengo mucho miedo. Me quedé solo en la casa. Me han pasado cosas desde que vi ese maldito video. Escucho cosas. No hay luz. No sé qué hacer. Escucho muchas cosas. Ay, Dios, tengo miedo. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Quién está ahí? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué es eso? No mames.
He literally saw the chair move by itself, but he didn't even move a muscle because of how used to it he was. It was something he had seen over and over again. Mara had decided to do some antique shopping to decorate her brand new home, but she didn't expect to exactly see much. She just wanted to get some new kitchenware and any cute items that she might find. When she got to the shop, the old lady there was somewhat grumpy and didn't give Mara much attention. She just ignored her though and decided to look around for the stuff she came for. Fortunately, Maria came across a leather purse from the 1950s, some washed-up Levi's jeans, and a new china set, just as she had hoped. After finding these amazing items and being on the verge of checking out, something cutesy caught her eye, and she could not resist it. A locally made doll, dressed in traditional Indian attire. Immediately after seeing it, she couldn't take her eyes off it. Curiously, Mara inspected the doll and realized that the price tag was missing, which was odd to say the least, and went to inquire to the woman on the till. The woman looked at her strangely and slowly replied, "This one is free." Mara was surprised that such an intricately made doll had no price and snatched at the offer, oblivious as to what it was about to do to her life. It was after a few weeks of having the doll around that she started to realize why it came for nothing. After starting to feel weird about the doll, she decided it was best to set up a camera near it and find out what the problem was. Surprisingly, the camera actually caught some movement, and the doll made the tiniest of moves before the camera malfunctioned. Coincidence? I think not. Jeremy had always been an observant person. He was also very big on the small details, so when things started changing positions in his home, he easily noticed. Jeremy had a roommate called Ed who spent his time at the hospital being a nurse. This meant that there was no chance Ed was behind these movements. Due to this conclusion, Jeremy suspected some supernatural activity, so he bought a few crucifixes, asked a priest to bless them, and hung them at different places in the house. It was then that he truly experienced more paranormal events, and it got so bad that Jeremy had to whip out his camera to record this.
Okay, I've been hearing banging for a good little while now. It comes from the bathroom door over there and then from the front. Do you hear it? Did you hear that? I'm just literally about to pick something to watch and I can hear banging on the... Can you hear it? It's this door. You okay? I don't know what is going on in here today. I'm completely on my own in here as well. There's no room in here either. What a crazy encounter. Now, I'll give you a bit of backstory. So, folks, I've been waiting to show you that video for months now. I caught it at the end of the summer, around August time, when paranormal activity was quite rife in my house, which I believe to be connected to a few of the haunted objects I've collected over time. Now, since this, nothing's happened in the house, apart from very recently when we were on holiday. My mum and sister were minding the house for us and heard someone again knocking on that door, the front door, opened it straight away and there was nobody there. And that's the first thing that's happened in a little while. So I just wanted to share it with you. It's absolutely genuine what I caught one day a couple of months ago, but I wanted to save it for the Halloween season with it being so incredibly good, if you will call it that. Let me know what you thought.
This was a full series of paranormal events captured in broad daylight, and Jeremy did not hesitate to contact his roommate about the possibility of living somewhere else. Fortunately, Ed agreed, and they would go on to leave just 1 week later, making Jeremy recover from this spooky day. Juego was a single dad who had a full-time job as a doctor and also took care of his twin daughters. They were 8-year-olds at the time and asked a lot of questions about the silliest of topics. Every time Juego had to come up with something that would somehow satisfy their young and playful minds. However, there was one night when this was not possible. The duo came to Juego with their barrage of questions when they were supposed to be in bed. But this time, one of their questions was quite unusual. They asked about a woman in their wardrobe who always came to kiss them goodnight. He was rather surprised by the question, but ended up telling them it was their guardian angel, and they believed the story, running back upstairs happy as ever. Juego, on the other hand, was not so pleased. After a few weeks, the girls mentioned that their guardian angel wasn't coming around as often as she used to, so Juego told them that she was perhaps a bit tired. This is when he started to treat this as a paranormal case and set out to find proof. One day, he dropped the girls off at their grandma's and decided to spend the night alone. His plan was to stay awake through the night and make sure nothing out of the ordinary was happening. However, when he heard a noise from the girls' room, his instincts kicked in. He picked up his phone and hit record on the camera.
¿Qué pasa, Sansa? De acá viene el ruido. Ey, 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 ey. Qué mierda, ey, ey. Vete de mi casa. Ey, ey, ey. ¿Qué fue eso? Ey, andate de mi casa, no quiero que estés acá, andate, andate. ¿Qué es eso? Escucha, escucha, escucha. No puede ser, no puede ser. Concha de la lora. Ey, 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 andate de mi casa. La puta madre, lo único que me falta ahora.
We know how protective fathers can be of their girls, and this time, it most definitely paid off. Juego actually had to call an exorcist after this event, even though it seemed like the benevolent spirit of his wife who had passed away a few years prior. He did not want to banish someone that close to him, but risks must have been made in case it was a demon. It was something from the horror books. A father sharing a wholesome moment with his daughters, but the ending is extremely terrifying to watch. Take a look.
Oh, shit. Fuck you. Fuck, man. Nothing here. Nothing here. Oh my god, I'm so... Oh my god, look, legit goosebumps. Oh my god. What the f*** is that?
The look of fear in the man's eyes, and how foreboding the ghost in the background was. not something you'd want your kids to see. Living in a suburban home means you have a semi-quiet and peaceful place to stay in. But what happens when you realize your home is haunted by a spirit that goes around trashing things and making your life difficult? That's exactly what happened to Donna, a middle-aged woman living in the middle of Louisville, a popular suburban place in Kentucky. Donna lived a happy life, residing in her comfortable apartment all by herself and working from home. Her 2-room apartment was her haven, but after just 6 months of living there, she started to notice some really strange stuff. First, things seemed to be missing around the house a lot, including her car keys, her shampoo, and she constantly found that her favorite bottle of Lynx body spray was somehow always falling off the table where she kept it. At first, she thought it was just rolling off, but over time she realized it had to be something else. One night, she decided to put her bottle of Lynx under surveillance and watched some television nearby. What she discovered shocked everyone. Here, take a look.
Anyone see that? Just a normal can. Normal can. You see it again, just a can. Keeps happening. I'm here, by the way. I'm stood here at the side. Was watching TV. Was. I'm show you this. You don't believe a word I'm saying, guys, do you? Well, there's a bit more for you. This is what I'm getting every single night. This is why I'm up all night. Need help.
Right before our very eyes, the bottle of Lynx was thrown to the floor by an unseen force over and over again. This put Donna into an unexplainable state of fear that she had never felt before, and she was forced to stop recording. Andrew was on vacation in Canada, alone after he's just finished a master's program in Christian spirituality at Sarum College. Andrew had one primary goal. He wanted to explore all the possible Christian history in the Alberta area, all the old churches, monuments, and whatnot. He was extremely excited when he found out that there was an Airbnb he could stay in that used to be the parsonage of an old church. It was exactly what he wanted. However, what he didn't know was that the church was abandoned because of the horrific things that had taken place there during the Second World War. He expected to see some of the Gothic architecture and maybe tour around the old church, but this was not what he got. He walked around the building and even took some pictures. However, his woes started when he arrived home later that night after having dinner.
Okay, that's kind of weird. This thing is moving. There's no fan on or anything. This thing's moving. Holy f***. Holy f***. This is like an old church. It's pretty crazy. Oh shit. That's up. Something going on in here. Okay.
The chandelier started swinging and the curtains even shut all by themselves, while Andrew just stood there in horror as he watched the next few moments of his life unfold before him. After these events, he decided to show the video to his grandma, who was his closest relative, and she advised him to do more background checks on the places he visits. Good advice. The following man was captured by a man called Dan, and moments before hitting record on his phone, he was having the time of his life. Over the past few weeks, he was watching the brand new series of a show he enjoyed, and on the day of this event, he was up to the last episode. He turned on the episode and got 30 minutes into it, and he later explained that he found it incredible. Unfortunately though, something was about to ruin his enjoyment, and he had no idea what it was.
Poltergeist scares man.
Wiesz. C'est quoi ce délire? Wesh. C'est quoi ce délire?
These events obviously can't have happened without an exterior interaction, and it was very clear that no one or nothing was fulfilling that role. Dan tried to film the majority of the room to gain as much proof as possible that what he was seeing was real, and to his fortune, people decided to take his word for it. After the event, he went on to do an interview and made sure to make his anger known. "It ruined the episode," he stated, "and it was super intriguing too." Sammy is a woman in touch with the paranormal world, although she wishes not to be. It all started 2 years prior, when she started to witness odd and unnatural events happening everywhere she went, but she never really took action. This was because whilst the spirit haunting her was consistent at causing disturbances, nothing it did was harmful in any shape or form, so Sammy couldn't be bothered wasting her time on it. The clip that you are about to see was a small test she did to see if the spirit was responsive to her, and the results were shocking.
Can you move that? No. Can you move that again, please? oh my god, oh my god. What? Can you do that again? Can you do it again? Oh my god, oh my god.
Sammy was extraordinarily surprised to see that the spirit actually moved the bottle and was starting to think that maybe it was there to help her. The fact that it had never done anything too far and actually listened to her made her think that it was potentially on her side, and so she decided to keep it around for longer. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future inclusions of Sammy in these videos, because her story will not end here. If you had to guess one place which would contain some of the craziest nights ever, then you would likely guess a boys' room, and I wouldn't blame you. All it takes is 2 boys, and there will be fights, jokes, and a mess. But in this instance, the cause of all the chaos was not the boys in there. The time was 6:30 in the morning, and after completing an all-nighter, the trio of boys were all rather tired. Nothing can wake you up more than a spirit though, and perhaps that's all this one wanted to do. Have a watch.
شكله ايش يلا نطلع برا لا
At first, the boy who sat up assumed something had just lost balance and collapsed, so he wasn't really too scared when it happened. However, the following falls were horrific for all 3 of them, and they eventually sprinted out of the room. Afterwards, they made it known that a strange and cold feeling surrounded them at the time, and they could almost sense that they were no longer alone. It was a truly frightening experience, and they all hoped to never come across anything like it again. CCTV or cameras in general are supposed to capture crime and make sure that culprits are found and dealt with accordingly. Whilst they do this job successfully and contribute to thousands of arrests every year, they also catch some unexpected things that leave the humans monitoring them in complete and utter disbelief. The time was 12:32 at night, and Shirley was woken up by a buzz on her phone. In case it was important, she decided to check it, and to her surprise, it was her camera, alarming her that it had managed to capture motion in her living room. Confused, she opened the app. The doll was moving ever so slowly, and this was not some sort of special battery-operated doll. It should not have been moving at all. In retaliation, Shirley went downstairs and threw the doll out the window before going back to bed and feeling safe. The next day, it was gone. She can only hope that some children came and took it. The following video featured two work colleagues looking at their Instagram to see if they had been looking fine in the new post. This should have been a minute-long activity before they got to work again, but to their dismay, they noticed something shocking. The place where the footage was taken was a hospital in Los Angeles, and nobody can explain what happened to this day.
A girl.
I see it.
You see that?
Yeah.
The next clip is of Hay. That's the person that does not exist.
And then scroll.
And then
he
gone.
disappears.
He disappears. You kind of see a little shadow there pop up and gone. And then all you see is Wendy's back.
Interesting.
But his face, if you go a little slower, you can see it completely. Let me go to the frame. There, you can catch his face.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Right, scroll all the way.
And then he's gone.
I want to look at the shadow.
And the shadow pops up right here, there, and gone. It's not her. It's not Wendy's shadow.
Some sort of mysterious face who no one could pin an identity to was present that day, and the security team decided to look into it after being prompted to by their boss. They checked every single camera in the establishment and didn't notice anyone entering the place who wasn't supposed to. They knew that the facility hadn't been infiltrated, but the bottom line is that this was not a positive thing and only raised more fear. Amelia has been haunted for many months now and is more than okay with the occasional disturbance. At first, she became terrified every time something happened, but it got to a point where she accepted that whatever was causing this wasn't going to hurt her and that she was safe, so practically ignored it. However, one day some banging started and it lasted for 4 solid hours until she finally mustered up the courage to go upstairs and investigate what the source may have been. This is the footage that she managed to capture. The fact that the curtains were held in their position for a good 2 seconds proved that whatever caused it was physically holding them in place, and Amelia's mind instantly started to paint some sort of demon sitting on the windowsill. Using the last bit of bravery she had inside her, she checked behind the curtains. Nothing. Ghost hunting is an occupation only taken on by the most bold of people, and Ihan is one of these. He charges high rates for insanely scary hauntings, so his job is likely one of the most frightening in the world. But money is money, and Ihan does what he can for it. The following video is some footage from one of Ihan's hunts, and he somehow managed to capture a spirit talking back to him, which is a very rare occurrence.
منظر الشبابيك مرعب. خواص رصا. مش عارف هاي المروحة رعب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. في حد هون؟ أحلى إشي. صابني صداع. الصداع هذا أذى لعيوني. بالطاقة. والله مغامرة. موقع حلو.
استودعكم الله. مش قادر أتأخر الصراحة أكثر من هيك يعني. وترقبوني في مواقع جديدة. حلوت، خلوني يحلو.
The red ambience made this clip far creepier, and rightfully so, because what Ihan caught was amazing and spooky. He managed to make $300 from this small piece of footage alone, so it's safe to say he wasn't fazed in the slightest. Pets are something that many people can relate to, and they are meant to bring happiness and comfort to a family. From dogs to cats all the way to birds, the animals kept as pets have a wide variation. But the one in the following video was a cat. Paul and McKinley had recently spent a few $100s on food and toys for their brand new rescued cat, who they took pride in wanting to take care of. However, for some odd reason, the cat disliked all of its toys, and so Paul thought he would try to entertain it with something as simple as a ribbon. What was the worst that could happen? A simple rejection of the toy? No, something much worse.
Oh, love him, Ben.
Look at him, man. But give him his toys that we spent 30 quid on at the start. He won't play with them like this. He's not interested. Give him a ribbon that we found bloody lying about. He loves it.
Was that a ball?
I think it was.
Somehow, a ball behind Paul rolled away from the duo playing together, and this forced Paul to come to a complete halt. Fortunately, he managed to catch the phenomenon on camera, or nobody would have believed him, so he showed his relatives and posted it to social media for all to see. To his dismay, they still deemed him stupid and explained that he probably generated a whoosh of air to push the ball when swinging the ribbon around. I am pretty sure a ribbon cannot generate enough wind to move an object, though. Who posts consistently to try and obtain his dream of being a full-time content creator. His main subject on the TikTok is horror-related videos, giving his audience information on spooky things that occur across the world. However, little did any of his fanbase know that one of his videos was going to be a first-hand experience of the male behind the account. Here it is.
I'm making a video right now because I just heard something fucking loud as fuck in the bathroom. Sounded like something fell. Oh shit. That was up there. What the fuck? Dick. Oh shit!
After kicking back and watching some television, he heard an item drop in the bathroom, but had a suspicious feeling about it, so decided to investigate with his camera rather than without. Thank the Lord that he had this feeling though, because it was correct, and a shampoo bottle dropped in front of his very eyes. Considering he knew a lot about spooky and some paranormal information, you would have expected him to at least identify the cause of the event. Unfortunately though, this was not the case, and no one knows what caused it to this day. On October 26th of 2024, Franco Claret was in his living room enjoying his day off work when one of the weirdest 30 seconds of life came out of nowhere. The time was roughly 2 a.m. in the morning, but being hooked to the show he was watching, Franco could not help but continue binging it, and he actually had no idea of the time until after the incident happened. He explained after the clip went mainstream that he would never stay up so late with his own company again, and he still sits in fear when in that room to this very day. If you think he was exaggerating, then pay close attention to the upcoming footage, because it was pretty horrifying to say the least. from the curtains drifting and the door opening all the way to the object. Falling at the end, it was very apparent that something unordinary was happening. Franco called his girlfriend after the incident and she didn't believe him one bit. He somehow got sleep that night and never encountered anything similar again. Family gatherings are supposed to be a time for communication and love, but the one in the video that I am about to show you turned out to be far from that, at least towards the end. For the first 2 hours or so, nothing went wrong whatsoever, and everybody was having a fabulous time after not seeing each other in so long. Little did anyone know that there was an unexpected guest in the room with them.
Ya estamos aquí en la merienda. Tamalito con chocolate, queso, pan y mantecadita. Buen provecho para todos. Marta, siente. Usted le va a tomar la foto a los.
At the bottom of the screen, a child seemingly sprinted across the camera at a pace which would have been very hard for a young person to achieve. Furthermore, considering there was a table in the room, and the woman filming was also in the way, it was highly unlikely that this was a real person running across the frame, leading to just one final conclusion. There was a spirit. The following video involved a security officer and a care home, and things got extremely spooky towards the end, so make sure to stick around. The time was 11 p.m. and the old folk had all just been put to bed by their carers. It was at this time that they sent out the security team to make sure everything was running smoothly, because it would not be fair to release them with the elderly still in the home, as the operation frightened most of them, despite it just being a simple checkup. At least it was usually a simple checkup, because this one was far from that. Take a look.
I'm tripping balls. I'm trying to see if I can get it to do it again. Fucking God.
It was actually quite hard to hear this, but towards the end of the clip, some sort of person whispered here into the camera, and it was obviously a different voice than the man who was filming. A leading theory for the incident was that one of the old folks who must have passed away in the home decided that they were going to overdo their stay as a resident and have some fun with the security who terrified them for years. Moving into a new house is scary, especially when you are relocating to an entirely different country. This was the case for the person who recorded the next clip in this video, and it was very spooky. Abad struggled to learn the English language, and this was the country he decided to migrate to, but he had no idea that this would be the least of his concerns. Due to financial troubles, he was forced to purchase a low-quality £20,000 house in the north, and it had little to no background checks. Since it was the only affordable property after the British inflation crisis, Abad took what he could though. He just got unfortunate with his unknown roommate.
Otra vez está mamando con la puerta del puto mueble. Me despierto porque escuché como que algo pegaba. Ni siquiera hay puto aire, no se mueve la cortina. Chequen cómo no cabe nadie ahí.
Things like this had happened every night for the 4 days he was in this house so far, and it was a horrible situation to be in. He knew nobody, couldn't speak the native language and had no money to relocate elsewhere. This was a sticky situation, and the sad reality is that he just had to deal with it. In a previous video on this channel, we dived into the life of Alex, who had some paranormal troubles to say the least. In this video, she heard some strange and unexplainable noises coming from inside her ventilation system, and this time around, she decided to give it a check. At first, there was nothing in there, and Alex was rather surprised to have not discovered a rat infestation. However, what she did find was arguably just as spooky. 2 bones lay on the floor, and below them, an anniversary card. This is the moment that the reality of the situation finally clicked in the head of Alex. Her husband had unfortunately passed away roughly a month before this event happened, leading her to believe that he was the one who caused this. After all, the anniversary card lined up perfectly with how long they had been married for. She went to bed in peace, fully aware that her husband didn't have the heart to cause her any disruption, even if the most evil of entities attempted to convince him otherwise. Well, she was wrong. For the entirety of the night, all Alex could hear was banging, and she was even jump scared by her cat simply running down the stairs. If this was her husband, he was definitely a changed man, and Alex was starting to consider alternative routes. She is currently looking for an exorcist, and if this story continues, it will be featured in future Haunter videos. During the peak of winter, Charlotte was checking her basement after hearing persistent noises that were disturbing everyone in the house from getting any work done, any sleep, and doing general day-to-day activities without being set off course. Like the woman in the last clip, Alex, she assumed she would find some form of rodent infestation and was really frustrated due to how much money pest control was charging at that point in time. However, she should count herself lucky because what she found was not anything to do with pests at all. Unlucky actually, because it was much worse.
To that bathroom.
Yeah.
And that goes...
After analyzing the footage several times, Charlotte confirmed that there was absolutely no chance that the person could have escaped, and the figure didn't belong to anyone who was supposed to be there. Have a go at solving this mystery in the comments, because nobody present could, and nobody viewing can either. The following video took place in the office of which a man called Dan operated his small-scale business in. It usually had quite a few employees doing their work and getting about their days, but when it began to get late, they all left, leaving Dan to finish up some stuff at night. Now being all alone in this setting at night must have been an odd experience for Dan, but not one that he could not overcome. What was about to happen to him was handled very well.
Ada suara-suara angin.
Astagfirullahaladzim! Allahu Akbar! Ya Allah! Kalian lihat gak anjing redup tiba-tiba? Lihat ya di sini guys. Anjing! Dit.
Those 2 minutes were the worst of his life, and he was terrified so much to the point that he debated leaving the office early. To make things much worse, the power in most devices went out right at the moment he started filming, which just made everything that little bit more eerie and hard to handle. As I said though, in the end, Dan handled this well, and phoned a ghost hunter on the spot, which seemed to deter the spirit from continuing its acts. As well as this, he decided to stay in the office for his regular working hours to prove that he was not frightened. As we know, fear fuels the paranormal. Just might be the most ancient video I have featured on this channel, and it is a possibility that it is older than you. It was recorded in 2008 and featured a man of God, Bruce, who was a devoted Christian. Over the past few months, he believed he was suffering from a haunting because he was hearing strange sounds at night. When he went to investigate these sounds, the source was either non-existent or had escaped, so this led him to the conclusion that the majority of people come to on this channel, a spirit was behind it all. Because of this, he took out his Bible and went to bless his house by himself, but little did he know that this was a horrible decision. Strangely, all sorts of objects started to move in the room, and it was pretty obvious that Bruce had no idea what he was doing. Despite being a devout Christian, you have to be very accurate to banish a spirit from your house, and one singular mishap in the blessing sequence causes things like that to happen. Hayalet was an Indian worker who took up a place of employment in the storage facilities of his local factory. Back here, the employees would keep track of stock, take the stock to the correct places when orders were made, and most importantly, restock. However, what is about to happen in the footage that I am about to show you definitely wasn't included within the job consent form.
I just saw my shoelace hanging in. Oh my god! My god, my shoelace just hanging in the air. Oh my god. Hey! You can see that shoelace in the air. Oh my god! Hey, hello?
Hayalet just put his shoes in the regular old position that he always did, and had no idea why the shoelaces were hanging in the air like that. It was as if someone was holding them up. The real blow to Hayalet's senses, though, were when the shoes dropped to the floor, and he was certain that this could not have happened naturally, considering there was no movement in the room to cause it. Worried about being sacked, he never told his superiors about the incident, but deeply regrets it and feels fear every time he enters that room. On July 7th of 2013, a video was uploaded to YouTube by Ramtin, and not even the gurus of the paranormal world can come up with a solution as to why this happened. The owner of the channel, Lucy, claimed to have never experienced anything like this in her life, and wasn't even religious, let alone did she ever visit some sort of stupid paranormal place, because she believed that all of this was rubbish. Well, to quote her father, perhaps spirits like to pick on the non-believers, because this is definitely what happened in the case of Lucy. All kinds of random stuff started to move in the room, and Lucy had no clue what was causing it to happen. After uploading the footage to social media, even gurus have the same amount of knowledge as her, and she is left guessing what was haunting her to this day. I must say that she has not even lost any loved ones yet, so it could not possibly have been due to them, which is a conclusion that many seem to jump to. Many things can start an argument, but it is very rare that these arguments lead to something significant. However, the woman that you are moments away from being introduced to thought otherwise. Her name was Sophie, and she had been in a humongous argument with her boyfriend, which had been going on for at least 2 weeks. They refused to disclose the details of the argument. But according to Sophie, roughly an hour before the incident that I am going to show you, her boyfriend asked her if she believed in the paranormal, to which she called him a weirdo and walked into the kitchen for some food. It was on her way to the kitchen that she called him over after witnessing something very odd, and they managed to catch the next act on camera.
This book's just come off this shelf, and I blame... I blame you.
Why? No, hang on. Before
I blame you.
Why?
Oh, it's broken.
Why?
I blame you because you were asking for something.
Yeah, about an hour ago.
A leading theory about this sighting was that the boyfriend somehow coordinated this attack, because it made no sense as to why he would hint at the paranormal world so close to it, visiting them. Furthermore, the fact that he was arguing with Sophie made this possibility even more likely, but feel free to let me know if you have any different theories in the comments. Oh, and remember to subscribe whilst you are down there. In South Carolina, all sorts of wildlife can be seen causing havoc. Bears and gorillas are probably two of the most frightening species that you can come across, and the male who was filming this clip believed that he was face to face with one of them. It all started when he was sitting in his living room, watching some television as people do. It did not take long for him to hear branches falling from the trees outside, so he went to take a look, and what he expected to be an unhealthy tree dying turned out to be much more dire.
I hope you can hear this. It sounds like gorillas fighting in the tree. They're breaking limbs bigger around than me. I've never seen anything like it in my life. This is the second time I've come over here. And the first time when I got up under them trying to figure out what it was, they started breaking limbs off and throwing them at me. And I still cannot figure out what it is. Look, they're ruining this freaking place. What in God's name is it? It's bigger than me, whatever it is. Because it's breaking limbs off that it would take me 2 minutes to saw. Look, see, he's coming right above me right here. He's fixing to throw something at me, whatever it is. Yeah, they don't like you messing with them. Look. What in God's name is going on? Look, that's bigger than me. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. What in Jesus' name is doing this? Oh my God, he just took half the tree down. Something, oh my God, oh my God. Oh, it's gotta be a, I don't even think a bear would have a chance in Hades and it doing this. It's something stronger than a bear. And he is pissed. Yeah, that's a healthy tree. About 8 to 10, maybe even 12 inches in diameter that he just broke because he's pissed because I'm getting close to him. I think I'm gonna bounce because I think he just hit the ground, which means he's about to face me on foot. And I don't really want to wrestle with somebody that can tear trees down. Just because they're mad. My God, look at the tree he just freaking broke in half.
All around him, the tree branches were falling down, and in the end, a complete tree collapsed. Now, based on what he said, it is pretty obvious that he believed this was caused by a bear or some sort of primal animal. However, this definitely was not the case. Nothing could be seen in his 3 minutes outside, leading me to be certain that a ghost of some sort was having some fun in the woods. Dogs, also known as man's best friend, are the most loyal and protective species on our planet. They defend their humans from all sorts of dangers, and Charlie, the golden retriever on screen, was no different. Take a look.
It has been freaking me out for about 15 minutes. I know, dude. What's going on? What are you seeing? And something's been spooking him. He's jumping around. This dude. What are you seeing? Why don't you back up? Charlie. I know. Calm down. It's okay. What are you seeing? You're freaking me out, buddy. Do we need to go? Should we go, Bubba? You tell me when it's time to go. Because I don't know what you're looking at, but when we need to go, you let me know, buddy. What's freaking you out, bub? Okay. Should we go? Yeah? You leave when we gotta go. As soon as you walk out, I'll be right behind you.
There were a few events in this video that I would like to look over, with the first happening very early. Roughly 12 seconds into the TikTok, a shadow could be seen gliding across above the curtains, which was more than likely a spirit. Secondly, towards the end of the clip, a voice whispers something along the line of "Dad" in a questioning tone. This made things very odd for the man behind the camera, because he explained after uploading that he had no kids whatsoever, and this freaked him out deeply. He would not have believed it if it was not for Charlie raising the concerns, though, so the dog most certainly gets the MVP award for this clip. In the following video, a woman was doing something as simple as kitchen work when something from the paranormal world decided to come and disturb her work. It bewilders me that these spirits manage to do their things at the most inconvenient times on such a consistent basis, and this one did its job perfectly at freaking out its victims. It is safe to say that they were left utterly clueless and did not know how to advance afterwards.
That wasn't me. I just heard a man's voice.
Right?
I 100% just heard a man's voice and it was not yours.
I swear.
Oh my god, I have like crazy goosebumps.
If you were listening very closely, a spirit could be heard whispering the word "hello" down the ear of the woman. And as you could tell, she was absolutely terrified. I know I would have been too. Ghost sightings are supposed to be spooky for the people involved and the audience watching them behind a screen. However, these things take it a step too far when they decide to pick on children as their victims. The kid in the following video was called Callum, and he was bullied at school quite a bit, so was already going through a lot. This ghost sighting certainly didn't do him any favors. Have a watch.
Justin, are you in here? Why are these on the floor?
Now at first glance, Callum assumed that Justin, his younger brother, was causing chaos and was more than prepared to snitch on him for trashing the room. When he scanned the room and saw nobody though, the boy knew that something was up. He tried his absolute hardest to convince his parents that what he saw was in fact a spirit, but despite his efforts they were never convinced, and poor Callum was left terrified with no aid whatsoever. Rahim was an individual who had been living by himself for a couple of years to get through university life. At first, he and his friends were sharing, but for unknown reasons, this did not go to plan, so they decided to split up. Since Rahim found the property in the first place, they all agreed that he should keep that one, which he was rather pleased about. To his dismay though, it did not turn out to be as fortunate of a decision as it was anticipated.
Alright, let's catch this on camera.
Surprisingly, the apartment turned out to be haunted, and the other friends actually knew this, which is why they decided to split up. When Rahim found out their reasons, he was extraordinarily angered that none of them decided to give him this information, as he was now forced to live with it. After dropping his friends from his phone, he added the priest to it and began negotiating a way to bless his home. This is when the updates were cut, and we have not heard from Rahim since. The following footage is from a CCTV camera inside a hospital and actually has a rather upsetting story to back it up. The clip involves Mamouche, the beloved husband of a doctor at his local hospital, and he vowed to protect her no matter what the circumstance. To his surprise, he received a message from her during one of her night shifts begging him to rush down and see what was going on, to which he did. But to his surprise, she wasn't even there. She called him momentarily after and asked why he wasn't home, and he explained everything. It was here that something odd happened.
A menos que esté fallando el detector, no sé. Pero vos estás muy lejos como para que te lea. Porque la luz no se pone en verde. ¿Ves? Vos estás lejos, Jorge, cuando se pone, mirá. ¿Escuchaste eso? Mira ya que se me puso la piel llena y no tengo miedo. Ese...
Mamouche heard the bang but had no idea what caused it until he asked his wife to speak to the security team about checking the cameras. It was discovered that all sorts of paranormal activity was detected that night, and if Mamouche wasn't as cautious as he chose to be, who knows what could have happened to him. A common occurrence when it comes to spirits is the sound of knocking, and it is unknown why ghosts enjoy messing with their victims in this way. Perhaps it is because humans are trained to respond to knocking due to doors, but again, that is just a theory and we have no idea for sure. What we do know is that the spirit in the clip that I am about to show you decided to use this knocking strategy to instill fear into Kenny, and what happened next was crazy.
There's somebody banging on my door here, what the f? Who's there? Who's there? What the f? Who's there? Oh, what the f? Holy f, that f creeps me out, man. What the f?
After opening the door, absolutely no one was on the other side, and Kenny was left baffled. At first, he thought that the knocking was likely caused by some teenagers playing Ding Dong Ditch, which was very popular in the neighborhood at the time. However, after reviewing the footage that he captured, this theory switched to a more negative one. Once he opened the door, a little girl could be heard, and the voice was very distinct, but fortunately, intellectual enough to be captured by the camera. This footage changed Kenny's perspective on the situation majorly, and who knows what truly happened that night. On December 20th of 2024, quite recently, Mario was doing some cleaning inside his apartment. His girlfriend was out doing things with her friends, and Mario wanted to prove to her that he could tidy because she said he couldn't. Intent on disproving her, he spent a full hour hoovering the entire apartment, and was even so generous as to do her room too. However, once he reached the stage of doing the sitting room, things took a creepy turn for the worst. As odd as this may have been, the speaker and the hoover fell without any sort of interaction from anything, and this was a fright for Mario to say the least. He stood there bewildered for a good 10 minutes after the incident, before deciding to call his girlfriend to explain what had happened, to which the response was quite quirky and funny. "I told you, you cannot clean." Chucky is a well-known horror movie character who is quite easy to explain the concept of. In short, he is a haunted doll who goes around harming the people who own him, which is very spooky. But of course, this is just a film, and there is no reason to be frightened in real life. Or is there? Even is a 23-year-old gamer and horror movie enthusiast who was in the process of decorating his new room. He wanted to make sure his room was personally crafted to represent him as a person, so vowed to include all kinds of horror and gaming characters, with one of them being a doll of the famous Chucky. Of course, this was only a toy replica, and it had a button on its back, which gave it the ability to speak. Ivan loved his choice until it decided to do this on one fateful night. The doll fell from its resting point without any natural interference, leading Ivan to expect the worst, especially when considering the fact that the doll was literally based on a haunted one. There was no way he could look past the fact that it could have been haunted. In response to the situation, Ivan decided to follow through with the only liable solution and put Chucky back into his box before sealing it with tape. This made sure that whether it was haunted or not, it could not creep him out in the slightest, and if anyone asked him about it, he could just say he prefers how it looks like that. After doing this, Ivan went a good few weeks without witnessing anything out of the ordinary and was starting to question whether or not he overreacted. His mind was flooding with thoughts, but eventually he came to the conclusion that it was better safe than sorry and left Chucky in his box, to which the doll clearly was not pleased. Take a look. When Ivan left the room, the chair started to shake vigorously, and unfortunately, Ivan was not able to see this until he opened the motion sensor detection on his mobile device. It was so strange that this happened on the exact same day as he was questioning things, and it almost seemed as if the doll wanted to be kept captive. To clear his mind, Ivan watched some television that night because he really needed to be calm before coming up with his next plan of action against the Chucky doll. It seemed that every time he wanted peace, though, the doll would strike again, and this happened in the final clip of this trilogy.
Aquí sí me dio miedo, le pensé en entrar, sentía que alguien saldría corriendo y fue lo contrario, me cerraron la puerta.
Alexa, enciende luz habitación.
Hay algunas cosas con ese nombre: televisor habitación y espejo habitación. ¿A cuál te refieres?
Espejo habitación.
Muy bien.
the Chucky doll somehow turned on by itself, despite being locked inside a box, and started making laughing noises, which were not even programmed into the voice pack. Furthermore, the door slammed in Ivan's face, which realistically can't have happened unless the spirit did it. So all of the evidence added up perfectly. This spirit was nasty. If Ivan posts any more videos regarding the Chucky doll, I will be sure to include them in the future, so please subscribe. In the following video, Mason and Olex were in a room together enjoying a nice takeaway, Chinese to be exact. Mason's apartment was free since his girlfriend was out at her best friend's birthday, meaning that he could invite a friend over without any repercussions. He just knew that Olex was number one on his list. After sending him a message, Olex quickly arrived on scene and they ordered some food together, splitting the bill. It was when the food was delivered that something insane happened.
Вот мы сидим, бухаем с кумом, и вот так вот, кум, посмотри в камеру, что ты можешь сказать, как поздравить людей с 23 февраля, с прошедшим?
Чтобы всегда были бабы.
Нормально.
Бабы, бабло. Все, что еще нужно. Бабы и бабло.
Что это такое?
All kinds of items started to move in the room, and none of them knew what on earth was causing it all. The duo had never experienced any sort of paranormal activity before, so were in genuine disbelief and had no idea what was happening to them. When it all ended, they shook hands and agreed to never mention any of this to any relatives, but would still post it to social media in hopes of some traction. They still do not believe a spirit caused these events and beg their audience for other conclusions. So feel free to comment them in the comments. Abdullah was, and still is, a ghost hunter, traveling all around the Middle East, making a living from the spiritual world. He was very experienced in this job at the time that the upcoming piece of footage was captured, but even this incident managed to instill fear into him. He explained after the mission that he would never deal with confirmed to be evil entities ever again, because the feelings that they can project onto you are very dark and have a long-lasting effect. Have a watch.
Assalamu alaikum margaru ye bie pa kapur ki Allah gastiri kha tra pakur ki rala bia Allah gastiri ya Allah khair margaru da de kur ki tas tama wilu ji qasam min bi kholo ji bade kur ki perian shtadi ya Allah khair do gore khaye ya Allah khair qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas malikin nas ilahin nas min sharril waswasil hannas الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس يا الله خير سوكي لك سوكي يا الله خير دو غورا خاي يا الله خير يا الله خير دو غورا خاي يا الله خير يا الله خير يا الله خير سوكي لك سوكي دو غورا خاي يا الله خير يا الله خير يا الله خير يا الله خير دو غورا يا الله خير يا الله خير يا الله خير دو غورا خا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا الله خير دو غورا خاي رنا ورز ده يا الله خير يا الله خير يا الله خير يا الله خير خداي خير.
As well as the doors and the chair moving on their own accord, Abdullah claimed that he couldn't think straight, and all sorts of dark and twisted thoughts clouded his headspace. As well as this, the air's feeling went from the standard warm mood in the Middle East to a cold and gloomy one, which was enough to make him do a full 180 and leave that place. Praise was a young man who was in the middle of one of the weirdest paranormal hauntings we have ever delved into. Over the past year or so, whenever his wife, Miley, decided to leave him home alone, all sorts of crazy stuff started happening with no trace other than a spirit. For this year, Praise desperately tried to obtain evidence so that he could inform his wife without the risk of being seen as crazy. Sadly, though this did not turn out well, and every single time he pulled out a camera, the activity halted as if it was never there. He started to use the camera as a safety mechanism, holding it in his hand whenever Miley left the house. On one fateful day, though, the ghost had finally had enough with this counter.
escucha que se están moviendo las pinches sillas. Ay, su puta madre. Van 2 veces que apago ese güey y se vuelve a prender. Y se escuchaba que se estaban moviendo las pinches sillas. Ayer también, pero ahorita estoy escuchando más. Verga, güey. No mames, no mames, no mames, no mames. ¿Quién eres? ¿Qué quieres? ¿Quién quieres asustar? Al chile aquí no vas a asustar a nadie, güey. No sé qué sea, no sé quién quieras. Estamos bien encomendados, apá. La flaquita nos protege y aquí nadie puede hacer nada. Pinche ventilador de mierda. No te pases de verga. Ay, que su puta madre. Vamos a desconectarlo, chingar su madre. No mames, no mames, no mames. La neta ahora se me sacó un pedo esta madre. Pinche vaso, le dejaron las pelonas. La neta sí estoy asustado. Un chingo, pero sí me saca de pedo esta madre. Muévete, nada más puedes mover una pinche silla y un vaso. No que muy chingón. A la verga.
For the first time in forever, the spirit started acting up on camera, and this is why you can hear praise, laughing, rather than trembling in fear. After gaining this evidence, he brought it to his wife immediately after she returned, and to his surprise, she actually believed him. They are currently working together to get rid of this problem, and will hopefully find a solution in the near future. Alex is a female whose content has been in several previous videos on this channel. Her house has been haunted for quite some time now, and in the last video that she featured in, she managed to decipher what the being haunting her actually was. It was her husband. Now on the surface, this gave her a sense of warmth and comfort, knowing that he would not intentionally disrupt or hurt her. However, she was really starting to question his ideas, and the following clip really strengthened this suspicion. The footsteps and banging could be heard from all around the house, and it even got so bad that the boxes collapsed without any visible human interaction. After capturing all of this, Alex sat down in defeat and cried for hours upon hours. She knew that her husband wouldn't do this, but was seriously starting to question her confidence on the subject. Or perhaps this spirit wasn't him at all, rather an evil entity. Alexi's story will more than likely continue, so subscribe to the channel so that you get to see her in future videos. Enrique was strolling through his store before the markets opened to make sure that everything was in check. Double-checking your stock before opening was key in the markets that he operated in, because theft was extremely common. This was because the market was outdoors, which meant high-level security systems, such as security tags and cameras, wouldn't be able to do the trick. Regardless, the thieves were about to be the least of Enrique's concerns, because once he turned a corner, the unexpected happened.
Aburrido sin poder dormir, viendo a Chucky, decorando un puesto. Todo solo. Vengan a comprar a estas horas. Su puta madre. Ay, cabrón.
Out of nowhere, the clown antique turned to face Enrique, and this understandably startled him. No one had purchased the clown in over 2 months, and it had never indicated a haunted presence inside it. Using his business-orientated mind, though, Enrique used this footage to increase the clown's value from $15 to $300 because he was certain that some sort of collector would love it. He was correct. The doll sold within a week. Now the next clip is very simple, and is probably the least eventful one I have ever included on this channel. Do not be fooled though, because the backstory behind this clip far exceeds any other on this channel, which is quite a nice contradiction if I do say so myself. The clip involved Faye, a young woman lying in bed in her new home. Her parents were rather poor, so they had to settle for a cheap house, and fortunately found a bargain, a 2-floor detached house for just $50,000. The family snatched the offer without doing any background research whatsoever. But after the clip you're about to see took place, they decided that maybe background research was necessary after all.
Oh my god. Just gonna shut again. Oh fuck.
The reason that the house was so cheap was because it was haunted by a family who had all gone missing on the same day. Of course, this decreased the house's value, hence why the poorest of the poor used it. They regretted their choices, but at the end of the day, it was the best that they could get. Ghost Theory is a YouTube channel renowned for exploring and debunking haunted locations across the United Kingdom, and have actually become rather successful doing so. With over 100,000 subscribers, it only makes sense for the group to continue doing what they do, and so they upload very frequently. The following footage is a clip from one of these videos, and it was odd, even for their standards.
Hello? Oh. Wow. Okay.
That made me jump.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. There was someone in there. There was someone just there, Joe. There was fucking
goosebumps.
That was someone just there, right? That noise and then that.
There was no windows open. None of these windows are open. How the hell is that? Look. completely sealed shut. Completely sealed shut.
It's boiling up here as well.
Where's the air moving? That was like someone was just pushing up against it.
I was like...
That's so cool.
Noise.
What created that first noise?
That was loud. That was loud. I've got goosebumps.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I know.
Where was it? Where was that noise?
Don't know.
That was loud.
It wasn't that. Hang on, let me put this back up. Oh, it's just settling down. How is that happening?
Usually paranormal events are left up for discussion on their legitimacy, but this one was so obviously a spirit. The fact that nobody was on the other side made denying the presence very difficult, and it was amazing content for the ghost theory team. No one can work out any logical reason for this to happen, making their credibility much higher. Harry and Olivia were a couple who had been dealing with the paranormal world for quite some time now. However, they believed that they had finally destroyed it. After saging the entire house, they went an entire week without experiencing anything out of the ordinary. And it is important to note that this was a new record, truly convincing them that their years of horror were over. Little did they know that the spirit haunting them was only just getting started. And in the clip that you are about to watch, it took its opportunity to attack. Both dogs were in the room, meaning that none of them could have been using the toy outside. Furthermore, both humans who were in the home were in that same room, meaning only two possibilities could have happened. Either it was an intruder or a ghost, and due to there being no damages or visible people, it was likely the latter. James and his family had been suffering from some form of haunting for the past few months, and none of them had any clue why the spirits had decided to choose them of all families. They never visited locations with paranormal connections, had barely any passed away family members, and were even strong believers in God. So if you could bet on a family to experience these kinds of things, it would not be them. However, one fateful night when everyone except James was asleep, he was able to capture the phenomenon that defied all of the odds.
Come on, I want you to do something. Oh, I hope I caught that. Thank you for doing that. I just need you to do something else. Are you just playing with me? We're gonna keep the camera right there on that thing.
Somehow, the pan from James's daughter's toy set dropped to the floor without any probable cause, which certainly took poor James back. Instinctively, he went to go and investigate the surrounding area of the toy to find its cause, but to his dismay, nothing appeared. In October of 2010, a camera was set up in an English classroom to record a teaching session for evaluation purposes. The teacher had come under a lot of scrutiny recently for their students not passing as many exams as they should have been, so the principal wanted a good look into what could potentially be causing this, and who was to blame. For months before this recording, tons of paranormal events had been happening in this classroom, but the teacher dismissed it and pinned the cause to the children, causing too much movement and things of the sort. This makes a lot of sense, considering what happened in the clip that you are about to see.
I'll send these on tonight.
Okay guys, remember what I said this morning then? Said the camera's not there, that's just there so that my boss can see what we've been doing in our lessons. Right, what were we talking about this morning? What have we been doing this morning?
Safety in the community.
Excellent, thanks. Yeah, safety in the community. Okay, good, Stephen. So we've been talking about dangers that we might face when we're out and about. What dangers might we bump into? Stephen, don't do that, please. It's distracting. Right, okay, well, whoever it was, don't do that, please. Go on.
Drugs.
Drugs, excellent, yeah, drugs. Okay, so that's one thing. Someone give me another one then.
Strangers.
Strangers.
I just moved out home.
It definitely seemed that way, didn't it? Right, what we're going to do, we need to... I tell you what, guys, let's just go out for a minute. Follow me.
Unfortunately, the teacher's lesson was interrupted by paranormal activity, and at first, he actually assumed it was the children playing some sort of prank on him. Worried about his job, but more concerned about the children in these classes, the teacher brought the video forward to the principal, who was surprisingly supportive. She explained that he did the right thing to evacuate them from the class, and whilst he would still be under close monitoring, she was proud of him for making that call. I wish that teacher and the children the best of futures. Like our last clip, the following paranormal event was not a standalone incident and involved a boy who had been experiencing a lot of ghostly scenarios in recent times. His name was Duncan, and like any regular teenager, his main occupations at the time consisted of college and football. Supposedly, his house had been haunted for quite some time, leading up to the clip, and him, his parents, and his cat were all becoming stressed out about it. This footage was an attempt to catch the spirit in its acts on camera for the world to see, and this is how it went.
Dude, I swear to God, I think there's something going on in my house. Like, this is gonna be ridiculous. It's unbelievable. Something's freaking my cat out. There's like, oh my God, I think it's about last night. Oh my God, but there's like something going on in my house. I swear to God, like, I've been hearing noises and shit. Like, I have a feeling it has something to do with that room and sun bath challenge I did last night or something. I don't know what's going on. This is really weird. I don't even get it. Oh my God! Happened right on camera. I don't know if I caught that or not. Oh my God. I swear to God, something's freaking my cat out and whatnot. I don't know if I saw that on camera. It happened right in front of me as I was recording. Oh, hell no.
Strangely, the toy plane jumped from underneath the desk without any sort of human interaction, and the likelihood is that this was due to a ghost. Duncan was fortunate to have captured this on camera, because he finally had the evidence to contact a priest about banishing evil spirits from his home, and this process is currently being carried out. The following video started off with an innocent boy filming his house to prove to his parents that he didn't throw a house party whilst they were on vacation, but it slowly turned into the most horrifying night of his life. His name was Neil, and his parents left him in charge of the house whilst they were traveling all across America. They didn't trust him and demanded a video every evening to prove that nothing fishy was going on, and the clip I am going to show you is one of these recordings. Have a watch.
Nakita yung camera. Ito. Kalilipat lang kasi namin dito eh. May mahingi na yun. Wala mag-isa dito eh. Natin ilaw. Wala yun. Na yun. Tay, sira ang cellphone ko. La. Wala yun. Sa tilaw. La, wala namang tao eh. La. La.
Items started to move all around the house without any known reason, and after sending this to his parents, they instantly booked a flight back down to Spain, where they all lived. It took 2 days for them to arrive back home, but when they did, they rushed straight to their telephone to call someone they knew very well, who happened to be a ghost hunter. We received no updates from here, because unlike Neil, his parents liked to keep things low-key. On November 13th of 2024, Juan Carlos was relaxing on his day off from work when someone or something took it upon itself to end this state of relaxation. The time was 11:45 at night, and Juan was catching up on the recent episodes of his favorite show. All seemed calm and unthreatening, until a persistent knock could be heard. Juan went to check behind the door, and nobody was on the other side, to which he went back to relaxing. For some odd reason, though, the knocking started again, and this time he took his mobile device with him to check.
Son las 1 de la mañana, mi gente. Miren, son las 1 de la mañana. Y están tocando la puerta de mi casa, señores. Están tocando la puerta de mi casa. ¿Quién es? Señores, miren. ¿Quién es? Señores, miren. Están tocando la puerta de mi casa. Y no sé quién es, miren. No sé quién es, señores. Son las 1 de la mañana, mi gente. Y me encuentro en el cementerio, en la puerta. Ay, Dios mío, Señor, la sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Dios mío. ¿Quién es? ¿Quién es? O sea, miren, que no hay nadie, señores. No sé quién es que está tocando la puerta de mi casa, señores. No sé lo que es. Oh, Dios mío. Señores. Señores, por favor, oren por mí, por favor, ayúdenme, señores. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Ay, señores, miren, sí, miren, quiero que caminen en el sí, señores. Quiero que caminen en el sí, señores. Hay algo en el sí, señores. Hay algo en el sí, señores. Oh, papá Dios, ayúdenme.
Juan responded extremely fast to the knocking, so I refused to believe that any human could have run away in time to avoid being caught, if this was a game of ding-dong ditch. The only logical solution to this is that some sort of spirit was trying to disturb Juan's peace, and if that was its goal, it most certainly succeeded. At 1:21 in the morning, most people would be asleep, and this was the situation for Caroline. Ironically, Caroline lived in Carolina in a small house which she was only renting due to a poor financial situation. Recent residents of the house had never reported anything weird or to take note of other than a past pest infestation, but the owners claimed that there was no risk of this happening again. Eager for a home, Caroline started living in the home, and this brings us to the day that she was asleep because for some odd reason, an unpredictable event occurred.
Like a loud boom. I was literally in a dead sleep. You can hear the girls laughing, but I don't know what it was. It was just something loud, and it woke me up. And now my room is creeping me out. There's like something going, I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys listen to it. I'm gonna shut up now, and hopefully I can catch it on camera. Okay, I flipped the camera. Did you hear that? Oh my god. Okay, this is my room, and it's dark. I'm gonna turn the light on a little. Okay, that was my heater that turned on. That's the girls. Okay. I keep hearing, oh my god, my eyes are watering so bad. I'm gonna sit up. Whatever's in here, you are not welcome. Please leave. Oh, my eyes are watering so bad. My dog's about to get up and go crazy. My dog is just staring right over there somewhere. And it sounds like someone's walking in my room. I'm gonna shut up now. You guys tell me if you hear anything besides the girls. My eyes are watering so bad because it scared me so bad. I don't hear anything anymore. When I first turned it on, I did. Let me turn the camera on again. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. You are not welcome here. I knew it was going to start getting crazy here. Oh my god, I hope you guys heard that.
If you were listening closely, some form of footsteps could be heard, and they definitely weren't coming from the girls' room. These footsteps were not your usual ones too, because they were rather aggressive and felt like some sort of soldier marching, which could likely be what the spirit in question was when it was in a human form. After ending the recording, Caroline cried for a while and felt too frightened to leave her bed. We will certainly include more of her clips in the future if you want to follow her story, so be sure to subscribe. On January 9th this year, Amanda and her daughter Steph were in the house together when something absurd happened out of the blue. The two of them had just finished eating lunch, and the daughter, Steph, volunteered to do the dishes whilst Amanda laid down. This was quite wholesome to see a daughter catering for her mother, but of course, a ghost had to swoop in and ruin this moment. Just to inform you, you have to listen very closely to understand what happened in this clip, so pay attention. Right at the end of the clip, some sort of growling noise could be heard, and Steppo claimed that it happened right behind her. Of course, Amanda didn't believe this at first, because it was such a strange statement, but after reviewing the footage, she had no choice but to trust that what happened was true. Babies are undeniably the cutest things on our planet, but all it takes is one little action to change that, upset them. A baby's cry is super disturbing because nobody wants to see someone at such a young stage in life in such grief. So when Juan, the person who filmed the following footage, heard a baby crying in the public bathroom, he had to go and check if it was okay.
No. No. Hola. No mames. ¿Se escucha un bebé? No mames. Oh, güey, ¿se escucha un bebé? No mames. Güey. No mames. ¿Un bebé?
To his utter disbelief, there was no baby to be found, and as if this wasn't weird already, the doors started to swing open and close to prove a point to Juan. This place was haunted, and he needed to make an exit. He would have been stupid to stay, thank God he wasn't.